Welcome to Numismatic Vault, the channel where coins aren't just spare change, they're hidden treasures waiting to be found. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable state quarters. Some of these coins are worth far more than you'd ever imagine, and the best part, they could be sitting in your pocket or coin jar right now. So get ready, because by the end of this video, you might be looking at your change in a whole new way. Top 1 today, we're going to talk about a coin that marked the beginning of one of the most beloved and successful coin programs in American history, the Connecticut State Quarter from 1999. Now, at first glance, this coin looks like just another state quarter. After all, millions of them were produced and spent all across the country. But what makes the Connecticut 1999 quarter so fascinating is not only its design, but also the fact that certain rare examples of this coin have become extremely valuable. Collectors around the world actively search for this piece, and in the right condition, it can be worth an incredible amount of money. Let's start with a bit of background. The 50 State Quarters program was launched in 1999, and Connecticut was among the very first group of states to be honored. Each state quarter design highlighted something unique about that state's history, culture, or symbols. For Connecticut, the chosen design was the charter oak, a majestic tree that stood for centuries and became a powerful symbol of American independence and resilience. According to legend, the original Royal Charter of Connecticut was hidden in the hollow of the oak tree in 1687 to prevent it from being seized by the British. That act of defiance made the tree an icon of freedom, and its image was beautifully engraved on this quarter. On the obverse, as always, is the familiar portrait of George Washington. Above him is the word liberty, to his left "In God We Trust," and below, the date 1999. But it's the reverse side that captures the imagination. The intricate engraving of the charter oak is one of the most detailed designs of the entire state quarter series, with twisting branches that spread across the entire surface of the coin. For collectors, this artwork alone makes the coin stand out, but what really excites coin lovers are the rare varieties and errors that slipped through the minting process. With millions of these quarters struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, errors were bound to happen. Some Connecticut quarters show doubling in the design, where parts of the lettering or details of the oak appear doubled because of misalignment during striking. Others are found with off-center strikes, where the design is shifted noticeably to one side, leaving a blank crescent of metal. There are also broad strikes, where the coin was struck without the proper retaining collar, causing it to spread out larger and thinner than normal. Even more fascinating are examples missing a clad layer, revealing a strange coppery surface instead of the normal silvery look. For error collectors, each of these variations transforms an ordinary coin into a unique rarity. Combine that with the historical importance of being one of the first state quarters issued, and the Connecticut 1999 coin has become a favorite among hobbyists. Condition also plays a huge role in value. Circulated quarters that show heavy wear are usually only worth face value. But coins that were set aside early, preserved carefully, and graded at the highest mint state levels are where the true excitement lies. A Connecticut quarter in near-perfect condition can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Add in an error, and the price skyrockets. What makes this story so exciting is that coins like this are still out there. The State Quarters program was so widely circulated that many examples remain in everyday use. This means there's still a chance that someone might stumble upon one of these valuable rarities while searching through change, buying a cup of coffee, or sorting through old coin jars at home. And now, here's the part you've been waiting for. While most Connecticut 1999 state quarters remain common, the rarest examples, those flawless, high-grade coins or dramatic mint era varieties, have been valued as high as $85,000, yes, $85,000 for a single quarter. Imagine the surprise of discovering one of these treasures in your collection. It's living proof that coin collecting is not only a journey into history and art, but also a potential key to finding incredible value in the most unexpected places. Top 2. We're traveling back to the year 2000 to explore a coin that represents Southern charm, deep history, and incredible collectible value, the South Carolina State Quarter Dollar. At first glance it may look like a simple 25-cent piece, but by the end of this video, you'll realize why this coin can be far more than pocket change. The South Carolina quarter was part of the 50 State Quarters program, one of the most ambitious projects ever undertaken by the United States Mint. Released in the year 2000, it was the 8th coin in the series and honored South Carolina, one of the original 13 colonies. Millions of these coins were struck, and they quickly entered circulation, finding their way into the hands of collectors and everyday people across the nation. But as you'll soon learn, not all South Carolina quarters are created equal. Some are ordinary, while a select few are extraordinary treasures. Now let's dive into the design. On the front of the coin, you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan decades earlier, a design that had been used on quarters since 1932. But the real story is on the reverse. The South Carolina quarter is packed with symbols that represent the state's pride and heritage. At the center, you'll find a detailed outline of the state itself. Inside this outline sits the palmetto tree, the official state tree and a symbol of resilience that played a role in South Carolina's Revolutionary War history. To the left, you'll notice the Carolina wren, the state bird, perched with grace. To the right is the delicate yellow jessamine, the state flower, adding a natural beauty to the design. And surrounding it all, the inscription proudly declares South Carolina as the Palmetto State. It's one of the most symbolic designs in the entire series, combining history, nature, and pride into one powerful image. Collectors love this quarter not only for its beauty, but also because it captures the essence of South Carolina in a way few coins do. But what transforms this coin from a beautiful design into a valuable collectible? The answer lies in rarity and error varieties. Although millions were produced, only a small number exist in pristine, uncirculated condition. Coins that have been perfectly preserved, free from scratches or wear, can be worth much more than face value. Professional grading services assign the highest premiums to flawless examples, and collectors compete fiercely for them. Then there are the minting errors. The year 2000 was a busy time for the U.S. Mint, and when millions of coins are struck, mistakes are bound to happen. Some South Carolina quarters feature double die errors, where parts of the design or lettering appear doubled under magnification. Others show off-center strikes, where the design is noticeably shifted, creating dramatic and highly collectible results. You might also find broad strikes, missing clad layers that reveal the copper core, or even die cracks that create unusual raised lines across the coin. Each of these errors turns an ordinary coin into something truly special. Collectors also keep a close eye on the differences between the Philadelphia and Denver mint marks. Certain batches struck in one mint may show clearer details or rarer varieties, making them more desirable. Proof versions made especially for collectors, with their mirror-like surfaces and frosted designs, are also worth far more than a typical coin you'd pull from pocket change. And unique toning patterns, caused by how the metal reacts to its environment over time, can add even more appeal, giving each coin its own personality. What makes the South Carolina quarter particularly interesting is that it combines high symbolism with the chance for valuable errors. Unlike some other state quarters, where the design is simple, this one's detail means more room for striking mistakes, and those mistakes often become the coins worth chasing. So imagine finding a South Carolina quarter in your change, only to discover it's a rare error coin or a perfectly preserved gem. For most people, it's just a quarter. But for you, it could be a hidden fortune. That's the excitement of coin collecting. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story ends with unbelievable value. Now comes the question you've been waiting for: just how valuable can the rarest examples of the 2000 South Carolina state quarter become? While the average piece may only be worth 25 cents, the rarest and most exceptional examples, especially those with dramatic errors or perfect grades, have been known to sell for as much as $82,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $82,000 for a single South Carolina quarter. So the next time you come across one of these coins, don't spend it too quickly. Take a closer look, study the details, and see if you might be holding one of the rarest state quarters in existence. It could turn out to be a treasure hiding in plain sight. Top 3. We're focusing on the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1995. At first glance, it might seem like just another common quarter that you could easily find in your pocket change. But as we dig deeper into the history, the design, and the fascinating world of mint errors, you'll see exactly why this coin can sometimes be worth far more than its face value. Let's begin with its design. On the obverse, or front side, we see the trusted and familiar image of George Washington. This design had been in use since 1932 when it was first issued to mark the bicentennial of Washington's birth. By 1995, this portrait had already been in circulation for over 6 decades, yet it remained one of the most iconic faces in all of American coinage. Above the portrait stands the word liberty, a bold reminder of the principles the nation was built upon. To the left we see the motto "In God We Trust," and right beneath Washington's chin we find the year 1995. Now let's turn the coin over. The reverse still displayed the classic eagle design in 1995, perched firmly on a bundle of arrows with an olive branch below. The eagle, with its wings spread wide, represents America's strength, freedom, and readiness to defend itself, while the olive branch is a universal symbol of peace. The inscriptions "United States of America," "E Pluribus Unum," and $quarter complete the design. This was one of the final years that collectors would see the eagle reverse before the state quarter program launched in 1999, making coins from the mid-1990s part of the closing chapter of this long-running series. Now, why would a 1995 Washington quarter be valuable? The answer lies in two important factors: condition and minting errors. First, let's talk about condition. The vast majority of quarters struck in 1995 were heavily used in circulation. They rattled around in pockets, purses, cash registers, and vending machines for years, leaving most of them scratched and worn. But coins that somehow avoided circulation and remain in uncirculated or mint state condition are very hard to come by. When sent to professional grading services, the best of the best examples might achieve a grade of MS 67 or higher, and these coins are considered extremely desirable among serious collectors. Second, minting errors. This is where things get really exciting. Double die errors, for instance, can be found on some 1995 quarters. These show doubling in the inscriptions or details, giving parts of the coin a shadow-like effect. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike, where the design is shifted away from the center, sometimes leaving a large blank crescent on the coin. The more dramatic the misalignment, the higher the value. Missing clad layer errors are also very collectible. The Washington quarter is made with a copper core and nickel layers on both sides. If one of these nickel layers fails to bond, the coin reveals its copper-colored core, instantly making it unique and valuable. Other error types include broad strikes, where the collar that normally contains the metal fails, creating an oddly expanded coin. Each of these mistakes transforms what would otherwise be an ordinary quarter into a rare and desirable collectible. Proof coins from 1995 add another layer of intrigue. Struck at the San Francisco Mint, these proofs were made using polished dies and special planchets, resulting in coins with mirror-like surfaces and frosted details. Deep cameo proofs, with strong contrast between the mirrored background and frosted design, are especially sought after. If preserved in perfect condition, these can command impressive premiums in the marketplace. When you put all these factors together, the historical importance of the design, the closing years of the eagle reverse, the rarity of high-grade examples, and the thrill of unique error coins, the 1995 Washington quarter becomes a truly exciting piece for collectors. It proves that not all treasures are ancient or centuries old. Sometimes modern coins from just a few decades ago can surprise us with incredible value. And now for the part you've been waiting for, the value. While most 1995 Washington quarters are still worth only 25 cents, the rarest examples, those with dramatic mint errors or graded at the highest possible levels of preservation, have been known to reach an astonishing $78,000, yes, $78,000 for a single quarter. Imagine the surprise of discovering such a treasure in a collection, a coin roll, or even your spare change. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting, the possibility that your next find could be something extraordinary. Top 4. We're turning our attention to the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1996. At first glance, this coin may look just like the ones we've all seen countless times in our change, but collectors know there's much more to this story. The 1996 Washington quarter holds secrets of rarity, minting errors, and history that make it a fascinating piece of American coinage. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this coin can sometimes be worth far more than you'd ever expect. Let's begin with the design. On the obverse, or front side, you'll see the classic portrait of George Washington. This design had been a mainstay on American quarters since 1932, originally introduced to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. Even by 1996, decades later, the design remained timeless. The bold word Liberty is displayed above his head, the national motto "In God We Trust" is to the left, and the date 1996 sits just below Washington's profile. It is simple, elegant, and instantly recognizable. Turn the coin over and you'll find the eagle reverse, one of the most enduring images in American coinage. The eagle, wings spread wide, is perched on a bundle of arrows, signifying the nation's strength and readiness, while an olive branch below symbolizes peace. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. By 1996, this reverse had been in use for decades, but collectors knew it wouldn't be around much longer. Just 3 years later, in 1999, the state quarter program began, changing the face of the Washington quarter forever. That makes 1996 one of the final years of the classic eagleback design. So, what makes a 1996 Washington quarter so special in the eyes of collectors? The answer lies in condition, rarity, and error. Coins. First, condition. Most of the 1996 quarters were heavily circulated. Millions were minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and they were used in everyday life across the country. Finding one in circulated condition is extremely easy, but finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is far more challenging. Coins that grade at the very top levels, such as MS 67 or higher, are rare and sought after. Collectors will pay significant premiums for coins that remain sharp, lustrous, and free from marks. Second, errors. Mint errors are where the story of the 1996 quarter becomes even more exciting. Some examples feature double die errors, where details like the lettering or parts of the eagle appear doubled. Others were struck off-center, producing dramatic blanks along the coin's edge. There are also broad strike errors, where the collar that normally shapes the coin fails, leaving the quarter wider and flatter than usual. One of the most fascinating errors is the missing clad layer. Since quarters are made with a copper core and nickel cladding, if one of the nickel layers is missing, the coin takes on a striking coppery appearance. These errors make the coin unique, and collectors love them for their rarity. Third, proof coins. In 1996, the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions of the Washington quarter for collectors. These coins were struck with specially polished dies and planchets, giving them mirror-like backgrounds and frosted designs. Deep cameo proofs, with their strong contrast, are especially valuable when preserved in perfect condition. Proof coins are already scarce compared to circulation strikes, but those in flawless condition can bring remarkable value. What makes the 1996 quarter particularly exciting is its place in history. It represents the end of an era. Just a few years later, the U.S. Mint launched the state quarters program, and the familiar eagle reverse disappeared from circulation. That makes coins from the mid-1990s more nostalgic, especially for collectors who appreciate the continuity of the Washington quarter before its transformation. Every coin has a story, but the 1996 Washington quarter is especially captivating because of the possibility that an ordinary pocket change coin could be a hidden gem. For collectors, the thrill of searching through rolls, inspecting every detail, and discovering an error or a high-grade example is part of what makes this hobby so rewarding. It proves that even modern coins have the potential to surprise us. And now for the moment you've been waiting for. While the majority of 1996 Washington quarters are still worth only 25 cents, the rarest examples, whether they are dramatic mint error coins or uncirculated pieces in the highest possible grades, have been known to reach as much as $76,000, yes, $76,000 for a single quarter. Imagine finding something like that in your collection or even tucked away in a jar of spare change. It just goes to show that treasures can still be hiding in the most unexpected places. Top 5. We are focusing on the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1998. At first glance, this coin might look ordinary, the same type you've probably used for vending machines, parking meters, or everyday purchases. But as collectors know, appearances can be deceiving. The 1998 Washington quarter is a coin with stories of rarity, errors, and collector demand that make it a truly exciting piece to explore. Let's begin with its place in history. The year 1998 was the final year of the classic eagle reverse design that had been used on the Washington quarter since 1932. Just 1 year later, in 1999, the U.S. Mint launched the legendary 50-state quarters program. This means that the 1998 issue closed out more than 6 decades of the eagleback quarter, making it the end of an era. For collectors, that alone adds special significance to the coin. On the obverse, or front side, you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington. Above him is the word Liberty, to the left the motto "In God We Trust," and at the bottom the date 1998. The design is simple but powerful, a reminder of America's first president and a symbol of tradition in U.S. coinage. On the reverse, we see the eagle with outstretched wings perched upon arrows with olive branches below, surrounded by the inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and $quarter. By 1998, this design had become iconic, but collectors were aware that change was coming. Now, let's talk about rarity. The Philadelphia and Denver mints both struck millions of 1998 quarters, so finding one in worn, circulated condition isn't difficult at all. But rarity doesn't always come from how many were made, it often comes from how many survived in pristine condition or with unique mint errors. For high-grade coins, condition is everything. Collectors prize coins that remain sharp, bright, and free from scratches or bag marks. Quarters from 1998 graded at MS 67 or above are surprisingly scarce and command strong prices. The reason is simple: most coins were released for circulation and quickly picked up wear. Very few were preserved carefully from the start, making top-quality survivors highly collectible. Errors, however, are where the 1998 quarter truly shines. Several fascinating types of errors have been documented. Doubled die errors, where the design elements like lettering or Washington's profile appear doubled, are one of the most desirable. Off-center strikes are another exciting variety, showing part of the design shifted dramatically away from the center. Broad strike errors, where the retaining collar fails and the coin spreads out wider than normal, also exist for this year. And perhaps most striking of all are missing clad layer errors. Quarters are made with a copper core and nickel coating, but when one of the layers is absent, the coin appears as a bright copper color or a strange two-tone piece. These unusual varieties make the 1998 quarter stand out and are highly sought after by error coin collectors. We should also mention proof coins. In 1998, the San Francisco Mint issued proof versions of the Washington quarter, struck with extra care for collectors. These coins feature mirror-like fields and frosted designs that make them stunning to look at. Deep cameo examples, showing strong contrast between the shiny background and frosted devices, are especially prized in perfect condition. Proofs are much scarcer than regular circulation strikes, and when kept flawless, they can command impressive values. So why does the 1998 quarter remain such a favorite among collectors? The answer is that it represents a bridge between two eras. It's the very last of the eagleback Washington quarters, closing out more than 65 years of tradition before the dramatic change brought by the state quarter series. For that reason, collectors see it as both historically important and symbolically meaningful. It's a reminder of what came before the explosion of coin collecting interest that followed in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Collectors also love the thrill of the hunt. Searching through rolls of quarters or checking your change might seem ordinary, but the chance of finding a rare mint error or a beautifully preserved high-grade coin makes the effort worthwhile. The 1998 quarter is proof that not every treasure is ancient or centuries old. Sometimes, history is as close as the coins we handle every day. Now, let's reveal the part you've all been waiting for. While the majority of 1998 Washington quarters are still worth just 25 cents, the rarest examples, whether they are flawless high-grade specimens or dramatic mint error coins, have been known to reach as much as $74,000, yes, $74,000 for a single quarter. Imagine the surprise of discovering one of these rare pieces in your own collection or even hidden among your everyday change. It shows us once again that coins are not just money, they are history, art, and in the right case, a hidden fortune. Thank you for joining me today and exploring the story of the 1998 Washington quarter. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future episodes. Keep searching, keep learning, and remember, the next coin you find might just be a treasure.